I've just got to start off this question with one question, bro. And that is why? Why do you do the things you do? And why do you put out the messages that you put out? What's your mission statement?
To inspire people to find their fullest potential.
Yeah.
Most people don't understand that they're operating on less than 5% of their potential. All they need to do is have a realization. And sometimes unlocking data sets or other people giving them information is just another stepping stone to their success. There's so much negative content out there. You never go and ask Cardi B or these type of celebrities, why is it that you make the content that you make? No, they are a reflection of who they are as individuals.
Yep.
So I'm just talking about the things that you and I are going to enjoy talking about today. We're not talking about things that we don't enjoy. And thankfully nowadays you get to record these things and people get to enjoy them. I mean, had somebody come up with the idea of podcasting when there was like TV stations, it would have been a thing. People would have watched it. You had late night shows and things of this nature. This would be your own version of that same thing, but millions of people can watch it. So might as well talk about something that inspires people to find their fullest potential.
So speaking of fullest potential, do you think, and this is almost a conspiracy theory that I've got, that the Matrix as we know it, and we'll get onto this later on in the podcast, deep in talking about the Matrix, but do you think they mute the idea of people wanting to unlock the fullest potential?
I mean, just think about the school system. You go into the school system, the moment you interact with the teacher, they tell you that in order for you to be approved or in good standing, you have to obey without questioning. You have to raise your hand to talk. You're a kid, but you have to sit there for 6-7 hours a day acting like you give a fuck. You have to ask for permission to take a piss. All of these things are conditioning you to what? A specific mold, a specific structure. It's what I like to call the hamster wheel, right? The hamster wheel is the illusion of progress. So you go through these 12 years of education, but how do you know that what you're taught about history is correct? How do you know that what you're taught about finances is correct? For all I know, when I look at the professors in universities with PhDs and degrees, I look at their bank account and I'm like, these people were never taught the essentials like budgeting or financial planning or financial literacy. Back in the day, if you wanted to be part of the elite, it was the time where the church really was in union with the state, and the church had the power. The priest would be the middleman to God.
Yep.
Via what? Latin, because that's how the Bible was written. It was written in Latin, Aramaic. So the people that spoke peasant English, they couldn't read the Bible. So they would have to go to this individual, this middleman, right? Today we have middlemans, we have banks, we have governments. But back then you would have the middleman of what? Of religion. But then the Bible was printed in English, and then there was persecution now because the middleman was cut out. And remember, the middleman was charging a fee, indulgences, in order for you to get into heaven. So the middleman had intentions. Today it's the same thing. There's middlemen that want to condition individuals to operate as slaves. Why wouldn't a society or the elites want highly productive NPCs? In fact, they realized that the best and most productive NPCs weren't the ones that were out being whipped and enslaved because they didn't perform with good morale. They're like, what if we deceive them with this piece of paper we call the dollar that we print out of thin air?
Yeah.
And we just tell them that this is the most important thing in the world. Go watch some interviews where they ask children, what is the most important thing to you? What is your goal? To be rich? To become a millionaire? Like all this money conditioning programming is conditioned from the moment you're born, and it's absolutely destroying society. And we just see it by the byproduct of how people work. People are not operating at their optimum. They're not optimal in how they think and how they study and how they operate with their health. They need to get sick in order for them to consider any sort of health. They need to go broke in order for them to consider money. They need to go through really bad relationships in order to consider celibacy or sexual purity. Like they have to go through fuck ups. And you don't have to have that. You can actually go through the process of learning proper. And what I've come to find out is that the system is designed to rig the players. The system is created by individuals. The tax code is written by people. Those people have intentions. It's obvious. The question is, what are the rules of the game? If I ask you, hey, what are some of the tax benefits that you can have here in the UK? You might list a couple here and there. But the people that are actually cracking the code, right, are the people that are studying the game. So they don't want the peasants learning the rules of the game. Back in the day, Wall Street was a place where, hey, that's where you made money, right? And now crypto rolled around, and it was kind of like this digital version of Wall Street where you saw all the peasants getting rich.
Yep.
And the government's like, no, we can't have that happen.
Well, even before crypto, the stock market as
Exactly. And they were freezing it.
well. Yeah.
We can't have the peasants making money. We can't have the peasants making money for free. That we do that, not them. They work. So that's the scam. The scam is that your life is all about work. The scam is that everything is about the 9 to 5. Everything is about the dollar. Everything is about the money. And it's not the way. It's not the case. It's not reality. And once you live based off of those principles and those values, then what you're living under is the principles and values of other people. I told people, some buddies recently, hey, I've been able to make an insurmountable amount of money, more money than I would spend in my entire life. I think I'm going to chill for a couple years. I'm like, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to work on? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just going to travel different countries and learn different cultures. Maybe I just want to do that for a bit. And they couldn't comprehend the fact that productivity is attached to labor instead of just enjoying life. And what I've come to realize is that's all conditioning. That's all preset programming designed to keep you in the 9 to 5, designed to keep you in the work slave mindset. Because there's more to life than work. There's more to life than business. There's more to life than entrepreneurship. There's more to life than trading cryptos, right? So once you make money, the purpose of money is what? Freedom.
Yeah, freedom.
And with the freedom, you get to enjoy things. So most people, I ask them, hey, why are you working for money? Oh, well, because I need to pay my bills, or I have... Okay, well, but why? Why do you want money? What is money? They don't even know what money is. People are out here working a 9 to 5. Okay, right now, definition. What is money? Define it. What is money?
People are just working to pay the bills and get by rather than actually chasing the freedom and things they want.
But it is, what is money? You go in, you give your time, your energy, your attention towards a task, and you get paid. What is that worth? What is those 15 pounds that you're getting for that hour worth?
Your time?
No, not your time. What is it worth? Where does it come from? Who gives that thing value? It has no value. That money isn't real. So what you need to do is you need to create money. And you create money by elevating the way that you think about finances, the way that you think about business, the way that you think about working. You don't work in order to get a paycheck. You work in order to build things that create money. We'll talk about that later. The entire premise, back to your point, is the system intentionally designing traps all over us to ensnare us and keep us down. 100%. School system, finances, food, music, all around. The people that observe it and are aware, they realize it. The people that are addicted, right, or part of the system or on the hamster wheel, they don't see it.
Yeah.
Whether you see it or not is irrelevant, but it's happening.
How old are you now, Luke?
29.
So 29 years old, we don't grow up thinking there's a matrix. We're not 13 years old thinking, oh my God, the matrix is after us and there is a matrix controlling us. So when was your first encounter with this and how did you discover it in the first place? And what was your response to it at the time?
I mean, how were you in school?
You start school.
But were you like good in school, average?
Oh, how was I in school?
Yeah,
I was good. I was average. Yeah.
How many people in your school right now that are like top A students, do you know where they are in life?
I was never part of that friendship group, so I haven't got a clue where they are. But I mean, they're probably doing well in whatever fields they're in. I know there was probably a couple of dentists and a couple of doctors, but I mean, other than that, I don't really know what they're doing specifically. In terms of the people that I know that done well, I suppose they're getting their way through life.
But what's their background? Because when I look at the background of the people that are winning, I look at one factor above all factors: their ability to incur massive risk and sustain massive levels of stress. These are the two differentiating factors between super successful people and unsuccessful people. And what I've come to realize is the people that are highly educated, just with literacy of the books or the schools and the degrees, and have more degrees than a thermostat, aren't necessarily conditioned for the real world, aren't necessarily conditioned for the business world, aren't necessarily conditioned to go eye to eye with competition.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. I'm just curious. The reason I ask is because I was still thinking about the whole school system. I don't know how it works here. I don't know if it's the same as the U.S.
How's the US? I'll tell you how it is.
12 years of school.
Yep.
And you have your basic things, your math classes, all general stuff, history, but nothing specific. You have an hour of break a day.
Yep.
I don't know if it's the same thing here.
That's basically like UK. UK, you pretty much have, you start off in year one, which is your, I suppose, kindergarten, I think, in America. And then it works all the way up until year 12, i.e. college or sixth form, right? And that's where you do your pre-studies for university. And that's ideally your final destination for study, which is university, which is what we've been taught our whole lives, especially from ethnic backgrounds, that we must go to university, we must get degrees, we must do this, that. The government push it on us a lot to get to university degrees, even with things like if you want to work in the NHS or you want to be some sort of doctor or anything, there are things in place that they allow you to have free degrees, so you don't have to pay. But usually it once started off, I think it was £1,500 for the whole degree, or the whole year, sorry. Then it went to £3,000 for the year, and now it currently is at £9,000 a year for university. Average is about 3-4 years, so you're already around £45,000 in debt before you even get your job and before you even finish your degree. So that's how it works here.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Cheaper than the US though, for most places. Yeah, no, the US, 9,000 a year is community college, but people are paying up to 40, 50, 60,000 a year. Yeah. It's crazy, dude.
You know the ones you always see on TV and films, Harvard University. How much does that cost?
I'm not sure, but probably 50, 60, somewhere along those lines.
Yearly.
Yeah, it's crazy. But once again, why do you go to university? Are you going just because of the degree? Or are you going because you are actually going to learn something and you're going to develop? Are you going because you're networking? So it all comes down to ROI. That's what people don't seem to understand. It's not that college is bad. It's not that you're not going to learn anything. It's what are you doing with those 4 fucking years that are your prime life to set yourself up for success? Like your 20s are your building blocks, dude. People are waking up at 30 and 40 and like, oh shit, dude. Like I got years to make up right now. I got work to do. But had they told you in university that after you graduate, you're going into the real world, dude, you're just getting started. You just had 4 years of getting specialized or fucking around, depending on who you are. Most people fuck around.
Yep.
And you haven't positioned yourself. We see nowadays one of the most important things for positioning for yourself, long-term success, is financial freedom. Dude, once you have financial freedom, you can learn whatever you want. You have the time and freedom to do whatever you want. Most people are not able to delay their passions and their gratifications. And then most people are not willing to change their dreams based off of the conditions of the things that are taking place. Just because you wanted to be a doctor, because that's what you thought you wanted to be, because your parents told you that that's what you were supposed to be all these years, doesn't necessarily mean that once you try it and you're in year 3 of medicine, you're like, hey, you know what? Maybe this isn't for me. And you say, okay, I'm going to quit. I'm going to go back to doing something that I enjoy. Most people are like, no, this is the career path that I chose. This is the hamster wheel that I'm on. And this is the path of false illusion of success and growth that I'm going to lay on. And most people do that. You have to break free from that. And university's not bad. No issue with Harvard, no issue with Yale, no issue with any of these institutions. But if it's just about education, you can practically learn most things online.
Now you can.
If it's about back then, yes. But if it's about networking, relationships, clubs, access, some of these prestigious universities are still a great place to go. Absolutely, why not? You still need relationships, you still need connections, you still need human interaction. So learning is not necessarily the most important part about university today.